Because for me, the anger doesn't really come from not being heard, because that's kind of, I'm getting used to that. It's the past that white people get in these conversations. But, you have, Joe and Tyann and Leif, as people are talking more, as Mancia is talking more about her experiences and other folks are talking more about their experiences, you slowly go into yourselves. And, like, I see a blank look on your face. And what gets me is how you can shut down like that, and how when you talk about your experiences, you only talk about what you can't do, what you don't feel. I don't feel this way. I've never felt that. But you feel something. So why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about what you do feel?
For me, as me, not as a white person, but as me.
No, as a white person.
As a white person.
As a white person.
As a white man.
As a white male, I tried to open up, and then I was shut down. And I'm angry about that. I'm angry that I can't, and I want to get back to that point. I felt like, I think it was yesterday, where I want to get back to where I felt like I was so open, and I wanted to feel that hurt, and now I'm shut down. I know I'm shut down, and I don't know how to open back up again.
But you're not shut. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not shut down. This is who you are as a person. You know what I'm trying to say? So this is who you are. You are numb. You have lost a piece of yourself as a human being. You cannot connect with me because you are not fully human enough to connect with me. You are not shut down. This is what you are feeling. You are feeling numb. That's what I want people to, that's why I keep talking about the hurts. What does it feel like when the emotion that you feel is numbness? And to put out the black men in the room.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Let me put out the black men in the room. I feel like we keep going to the past, what our ancestors did to protect ourselves now, to protect what we've gone through and what we felt and the hurts that we felt. And when I hear the women of color speak, they're very in the present, but the black men are going to the past. I'm wondering about that, because I feel a protection that you're putting over yourself, where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling this now. It's what your ancestors did, and you remind me of your ancestors, so that's why I hate you, but I don't need you. I don't need nothing from you, and I think that's bullshit. Because for me, it affects me pretty severely when I see y'all shut down. You know what I mean? That's happening now. And I was assimilated to whiteness, so it wasn't necessarily, for me, it wasn't necessarily thinking about slavery. When I looked at pictures of slaves, I didn't think of the pain that they felt. I was like, oh, poor slaves, but it took me, for like the last 3 years I've been thinking about this, So that pain that I feel isn't from that. It's from my life. It's from dealing with people like you and you and you and you. I mean, that's what it is. Dealing with the numbness, this inability to connect on a very basic level. And what that means for our relationship.
You're right, though. You're totally right. I even feel numb in my body. Like, I feel numb in my toes. You're right. I never even noticed until you said it.
But as they're talking, I just want to say something, is that I find that almost every white person in this room is blaming a person of color for that. You're blaming them for making you feel this way. And what I'm also hearing, and which might be very difficult is, what's it like to be white and out of control? What's it like to be white and not know? He told you a story, and some part of you, as I watch you listening, or maybe even you're still thinking about me. I'm a gay man, I know. I'm a woman, I know. But I cried when I heard him because it didn't make sense to be treated like that, to be called a product, not people. It means that somehow you can't figure it all up here. But I just cried. I don't know how to understand it. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can cry when she's raped. Why are you so caught up with how to do it? Caught up with so scared that you get numb. Why aren't you crying? Because I see white people do this. Thank you. And I have a question. What year did that happen? By the way, how many people were there? And somewhere in there, I want you to think about, why are they crying and you're just still thinking about yourself?
That's an assumption you're making.
No, but I'm watching this. I'm watching it.
It's true.
It might be true for you, but it's not true for me.
Okay, well, for truth for me is, and I'm just, oh my God.
And so when he does this, stop thinking about yourself because he wants to talk. Because all you're doing is, I'm not like that. Look at him as he's trying to cry, and you're trying to rub him off, and you even went away for a second.
I did.
Yeah. And that's your luxury of just go away. Because you're a little bit hurt because you were misunderstood for a few seconds. And so he's ready to say, I want to talk about it. So get out of yourself.
You know, you said that a component of our humanity is missing, and yet we still can't see people of color as human. I mean, I'm hearing stories and shit, and yet we still can't. It's not important because we don't see you as human.
Joe, how hard is that to say?
Very. Because I have considered myself someone who I've come from a racist family. I am racist. But I did not, and I'm not even certain I fully realize how racist I am, but when I could look at you, Mark, and go, I have not fully acknowledged your humanity, how racist am I that I don't consider you a full human? I mean, that hurts you. And then I begin to realize the fact that I have been so pretentious and arrogant and privileged, able to feel that way.
I have a different take on your arrogance. You are a gay man, and so you carry like a badge of courage because you have some oppression. But I think it's hard for you to have said, I'm a white man.
Who is the oppressor?
Yeah.